Hello neighbors, it's Brad here at eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the BMW Patriot sliding fifth wheel on a 2020 GMC Sierra 2500. Now this is a particularly great option for this truck in particular because it's a 6.5 foot bed. This is a sliding fifth wheel. So if you've ever pulled a fifth wheel with a short bed, you do kind of have to worry about cab clearance, especially with your campers. If you cut too hard, it's going to smack the side of your truck and damage it in the process. And the great part about this is you can slide this super easy. Just lift that handle, push this back, and it's going to lock in place. You know it's locked in place because that handle drops, and that's going to give you a lot more turning radius, and your cab corner is a little bit safer. Now the forward and aft travel is going to be 12 inches, so having that extra foot of space can really make a world of difference and prevent damage from occurring. So this is a great option, I think, especially for short bed trucks, but it's going to work equally as well for your long bed, and it's still nice to have that little bit of extra room. Now it's also really heavy duty. It comes in at a capacity of 18,000 pounds, so most of your RV fifth wheels are going to work perfectly fine with this. Along with that, you have a vertical load limit, so the weight being pushed down on here of 4,500 pounds, so again, pretty heavy duty. Now when you are hooking up to your RV, it's got these dual locking jaws, so you'll just simply take out your pin, open up your handle, and you can see those open up, and when this comes into play, it's going to snap back in. You can put your pin in and know that it's going to be locked, ready to go. Another nice feature about this is if you do need to use your truck as a truck and the bed, it's pretty easy to get this out. You can lift these two handles and that's going to undo the latch here, allowing you to separate the head from the base, and then you just take 4 pin and clips out and you can get the base out. Now it is pretty heavy, so I recommend having an extra set of hands to kind of get you out of the truck, but at least you have that opportunity to take some of that load off. Now another nice feature too is you get a little bit of adjustability to custom fit to your trailer or camper by being able to have some weld nuts that are attached behind this plate. It's going to allow you to have either a 17-inch height or a 19-inch height, so just that little bit to really level out your trailer. Now being a BMW, it has the gray powder coat finish, which definitely makes the brand stand out, and it's a really durable coating. A lot of these hold up to scratch and wear long term, so it's going to look really good for the period that you own it, and it's not going to rust or corrode. Now something else that's really nice, and just speaking to the quality of BMW overall, is the polyurethane bushings that are throughout this. It's going to make it a lot less rattling and just take down some noise while you're towing down the road. Now getting it set up out of the box and into your truck ready to tow doesn't take that long. Again, I mentioned earlier, you're going to want an extra set of hands to lift the base in, as it is pretty heavy duty. So once you get that in place, the rest of it's pretty simple, but I'm going to show you how to get it all set up. So let's take a look at that. To begin our installation, we're going to go ahead and drop this into our rail system. And we have a BMW rail kit that we just installed. This is work on any standard rail layout. Now it should just drop in. Sometimes it can get a little bit tight, so you might need to kind of work it around a little bit, and we should get this to be able to pop in. Now once we have it dropped in, we're going to take our pin and clip, and this is just going to slide in and hold it in place. So I'll just feed these through. There's going to be one on each corner, and they should slide through. We'll get our cotter pins in place. Now once you get it in place, if you're having trouble getting those pins in, there's a little bit of wiggle room laterally, so you can take a dead blow hammer and kind of knock it around until those pins slide a little bit easier, and that helped me get our pins in place. So now we're going to grab our frames here, and depending on if it's a short bed or a long bed, you can kind of get a little bit of custom fit here. So you can see this is going to put the head a little bit further back, but if we put it in the reverse on the other side, it's going to put it a little bit forward. So on a short bed truck, even though this is a slider, we are going to try to get as much as we can further back. And there is some adjustability here if you need a little bit higher, a little bit lower. So you're going to want to measure your fifth wheel and make sure that it kind of measures out. But for today's sake, we're just going to put it in the center hole. I'll get this started. We have our lock washer. It's pretty nice here. It's threaded holes, so you don't have to worry about when tightening this that you have to have a wrench on the other side. So we'll just, like I said, get these hand tightened in. And these are going to be a 3/4 inch socket that you'll be using. So go ahead and get these all torqued down properly. we need to get our clamp on here, and this is going to allow this spring to have our head actually pivot and be spring loaded. So what we'll do is take the bracket and the spring, and we want about a 1/2 inch gap here, so I would say like a finger, right about here at this, kind of right at the peak here. So once we have that in place, we can go ahead and pop this on with our hammer. Now it is going to bite into the metal, and it can be a little bit tricky, so once you kind of have it in a spot you're happy, what I do is I take a flathead screwdriver. You can kind of pry it open just to kind of get it to bite right away, and then we can hammer that down. Another option too, just so you don't hit your fingers, I got just a pair of vice grips on here, just to kind of hold the tab, and then a hammer. We're going to just kind of hit this on there and try to get those teeth to bite in. There we go. Once it's kind of started, then you can just go ahead with the hammer and hit it in. Now this end with the bend is going to rest here on top of this clip, and we'll go ahead and get this tightened down. Then we have our nylon lock nut here, and we're going to be just using a 7/16 to get this tightened down. Now you don't have to get too crazy, just snug it up. Now we'll set our head into place here. So just pulling these handles up, you can let that go, and now it's locked into place. To get our arm in place, we're going to go ahead and slide this in. There's this channel here, and we're going to pass on the outside. We're going to put our button head bolt down, and then we have our flange nut. So I'm going to get this hand tightened on real quick. And then we'll be using a 7/32 hex on top and a 9/16 wrench on the bottom, so we can go ahead and get these tightened down. And then with those tightened down, we can go ahead and put our pin in place, and that's going to do it for getting this all prepped, ready to tow. And that was a look at the BMW Patriot sliding fifth wheel on a 2020 GMC Sierra 2500.